Are you talking to me? I don't see nobody else over here. You must be talking to me. Good girl. Attacking the weakest pawn on the chessboard. The pawn in front of the king's diagonal. The weakest pawn. She's not at war yet. She's setting the stage for the war. She's a little more familiar than you are. I can see that. And she moved the queen out of the way to hide the king in the early part of the game. But if I push this pawn, does it change the dynamics of the game? She's not going to castle yet until she removes the bishop from the harm's way. Because her observation is really strong. You guys are both going to get strong. So I'll put your piece up there. Now what?
Yeah, I mean...
She castles, the most fundamental thing in chess. Secure the king, because when he dies, it's over. But he's got to be the most important piece on the board, but the weakest. And that's why we hit him in the corner. Now use that. He's going to look down. She's looking down at a very high level of observation, Mom. And she took a piece. You didn't tell me that she was this good.
So Johnny, where did you come from? Where did you grow up originally?
I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, in Borough Park, Brooklyn.
Okay. Gotcha.
And one day I was working here in Lower Manhattan
Yeah.
on a scaffold, and I had an accident. I broke my knee. But that led me into this park, where when I walked in the front entrance over here, I was like, I guess 23 years old. And when I walked up the aisle here into the park, I saw a bunch of old men sitting in the circle. And I had a cast on at the time. I was a fresh 23 years old, a beast at exterior work outside. So I limped in this park one day.
Okay.
I didn't know nothing about chess, but I saw a bunch of old men over there in the circle. They were playing chess. And I hobbled in with my crutches. I didn't know nothing about chess, but I wanted somewhere to sit down.
Sure.
So I picked one of the tables and played one of the old guys in chess.
Okay.
And when I did, it was then that I discovered that I liked that game.
Yeah.
And that I was capable of advancing my knowledge of the game. So I sat there.
Sure.
And I lost a lot of money to one of the old guys. They took my money.
Yeah, that's what they do.
And when I left the park that day, I was angry that they did that. And I went on to learn chess even further so that I could be the one to get the money.
I understand.
So I continued to practice.
So let's talk about a little bit of your chess. How would you describe your chess playing style?
I approach chess.
Yeah.
It's a brand new world. It's a brand new chapter. Everything else shuts down. And I only have one goal, to come across that board and capture that king. And how I do it is, it's kind of unique. What are you talking about, John? Well, I approach chess with three parts, a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Okay.
And guess what you do in the beginning? You send the men out to the battlefield, develop your pieces, and take control of the center. You know how they all say that?
Sure.
It's true.
Yeah.
The men out in the battlefield represent minimizing the enemy's ability to penetrate your land. They're out in the field with their guns cocked, right?
Sure.
That's what you do in the beginning. Then you hide the king, castling.
Right.
Those are the two things you do. And I've been practicing and getting better and better at it.
Yeah, for sure. And I know that you pride yourself on the speed you play. You're a real true blitz player.
Oh, I'm a true blitz player, and you could be rated 2300 like a master.
Yeah.
And if you slow, I'll crack you and crush you all day long.
Yeah,
because of the time.
I just saw you beat a really high player.
I beat a
time,
high quality player like that too.
Yeah.
And that's, unfortunately, that's how I win most of my games, by thinking faster. Not necessarily more strategic, but faster.
You're a fast thinker. Well, that's part of the game too. You need to be a fast thinker.
Well, that's why blitzes came into existence, because years and years and years ago, before blitz, people used to sit there for an hour, 2 hours, and the guy across from us, he gets frustrated. No way.
Right.
The clock is the only way to go.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you first started playing chess in Washington Square Park. Is that the reason why you keep coming back here, or why Washington Square Park for you? What is it about here?
The value of Washington Square Park for me is mainly location.
Okay.
It's right across the street from NYU, which of course has a whole bunch of people, young adults and even older people. And then the neighborhood is very residential, where you get the kids. And you can't choose any better place than a heavily populated place like Washington Square Park, a historic site for chess.
Yeah, and you seem to gravitate with the children really well. I mean, you're a really
The children
great
really
teacher.
love me because I have very high social skills and I can meet anyone quickly.
Yeah.
It's my nature. And by the way, even though I'm not the greatest chess player around this circle, there's one thing I may have over them, and that is the social aspect of the game. That I can engage and meet anyone from anywhere in the world and treat them just as evenly equal as I would treat anyone else.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me feel a level of contentment as I sit there all day long.
And these kids, they really love it too. And
They really love it. And by the way, there are no losers at my table. It's just you and me, engaged in a learning experience.
That's
and
true.
at the end, somebody will get checkmated, but the fruit is before the end. It's the journey.
Understood. And the journey is quite fascinating sometimes. You tend to draw quite a few laughs, and everybody's having a good time.
Oh, listen, the money that people give you here in their own hearts for the donation, for you giving them that service of activity, that's one thing, the money. And by the way, that money gets spent in the bodegas when I shop and buy different things. The
Yeah.
money's gone eventually,
Yeah.
but the experience, that's mine. The little kids who laughed when I showed them a variation, the mother and son who sat there in amazement when I showed them simple things, that's my fruit.
Yeah, I've heard you say it plenty of times. You're not really interested in the money. The money helps, it's great, but you really enjoy chess and the experience and the social aspects.
Absolutely, and that gives strength to my soul, to my emotions. It gives me remembrance of others, experiences that's mine. It ain't the corner delis that get the little dollars people. That's mine.
Right. So
You even, right here now, right here, you behind that camera, you right there filming me. This is the fruit that I receive from my engagement.
it's all part of it. So the outsiders to the park, they call you guys chess hustlers.
Okay.
What do you think about the name hustler? Would you call yourself a hustler?
Absolutely not. I think the word hustler kind of assassinates the real purpose of a chess player.
Yeah.
Because I think that putting a title on these guys who come here, some of which, by the way, give their heart into the game and transferring information from themselves to another. So a lot of the guys give their heart in the game, and it's unfair to deem them hustlers as opposed to chess players and teachers.
True. So this park is kind of crazy. There's a lot of eccentric people. New York City is kind of a crazy, eccentric place. And you see some suspicious activity every once in a while. I'm curious, having been here almost every day, have you seen anything sort of suspicious? Have you run into any problems? Maybe any thieves running around or any...
Well, I'll tell you like this. I haven't seen anything in particular of recent time, but I will tell you this. You're in a city of 9 million people, and it would stand to reason that in a crowded area like this, one may need to be a little bit more careful with his possessions and his own self, as opposed to being on a side street somewhere.
Sure.
But for the most part,
Yeah.
This is a safe haven
Yeah.
where there's a lot of wonderful and good people. A lot of neighborhood people come here, and there's very minimal amount of problems here. Very minimal.
Yeah.
And I like it. Yes, you have isolated incidents that
Sure.
you probably heard of, and
Yeah.
that happened, but they're isolated, and they only happen once in a while. And by the way, that would happen anywhere around the world, not just Washington Square.
Yeah, it seems to be a really safe place.
It's a safe haven, or I
Yeah.
would have stopped coming here long ago.
Right. I think we all can say we feel pretty comfortable in this park.
Yeah, especially when you're here a while and you get to know the guys.
For sure, yeah.
They kind of look after each other.
So this question can be chess related or unrelated.
Okay.
But what would you say is your biggest fear? Your biggest fear
In life or in general?
in
I mean,
life, in chess, and in
My biggest
general.
fear.
Yeah. It's a tough question.
My biggest fear is that when people don't accept me for who I am,
Yeah.
and wherever I am in my life, that's my biggest fear.
Okay.
That I could be myself and still not be accepted. That I fear that
So you feel the pressure of
of others who
social
differentiate,
acceptance. Yeah.
who are different than me.
Yeah, I think
who
we-
don't accept me as an individual.
Right. Some fear of rejection. And,
Yeah, like that.
Yeah. Understood. Yeah. I think that's a pretty common fear.
I
in
think
most
that's
people.
my fear, though,
Yeah.
because I'm not afraid of failure.
Okay.
Because every day, at least once or twice a day, I fail.
Sure.
But in failing, I win. Because I learn a level of information relative to the failure, and I conquer it. I'm looking at it close, too, just like I do with chess. When I pierce my eyes down at them 64 squares, I want to know what's going on.
Absolutely. I think that's a great answer. It's a great answer, Johnny. So, I've played you several times on the board. You tend to beat me. I've beaten you a few times. But regardless of the outcome, you always seem to maintain a jovial spirit. You have a big smile. What makes you happy, Johnny?
This morning, when my eyes opened, I gave thanks for another day, because somewhere in the world, someone did not, and I did. And I take that fact and run with it. I take that day and run with it as if it were my last, because it may be. But with that day, I put my college foot forward in everyone that I meet and everywhere that I go. So if a little kid runs up to me and with the impression that he wants to play chess, he doesn't need not a dime. He could sit right across from me and I'll give him everything I have, because that's who I am. I don't want to do that. When I come here, I come with a prerequisite intention of getting money, like they say about us hustlers.
Right.
I don't want to be a hustler. I just want to be someone who could sit across from me and feel pleasant and comfortable about engaging with me. And by the way, I get that every day. So you can imagine how I would feel going home at the end of the evening after having encountered maybe 10 or 12 people who blessed me and made me feel like I'm worthy, that I count too. That's what's really important to me.
That's great, Johnny. We see it in your personality. You're very charismatic, and you seem to be a very happy person, full of energy.
And I love kids
Yeah.
too, because they're innocent and they're open to hearing and learning everything.
Yeah.
Like sponges.
Younger minds, yeah, they're sponges.
Sponges.
Exactly. So, I guess one more question to wrap things up, Johnny. Is there anything you'd like to share? A word of wisdom, some final message for the people, anybody that's watching this video?
Sure. Well, I would say this, that no matter where you are in your life, no matter where it is, no matter where you sit, whether your life is full of success or adversity, be still and think about it. Search for the gifts that God gave you, and then put your college foot forward with them. Because it's a shame, but a lot of people get old and never really exercise the real gift God gave them. And with me, it has nothing to do with me being the best chess player, but everything to do with nourishing others with enlightenment and with comfort and with social, social aspect, like here in the park.
Absolutely.
When a kid looks across and smiles at you and says, "Thank you, Johnny, thank you," and his mother reaches her hand out, and the kid's still standing there smiling and full of gratitude because of what he just learned, that is my fruit. The knowledge that I gave something away, that I gave something significant, I made someone else happy. I'm not here for just me. I'm here for the people. I learned a long time ago, right, that I would rather be a giver than a receiver. Because it is in giving that you do receive. And I sit here every day with that sense of emotion. And when somebody walks up to my table and I hear the mother say, "No, Billy, we don't have any money," I say to Billy and the mother, he doesn't need any. And I welcome him to the table. I already know when they leave my presence, I met another person and I got another friend. And when they're little and big, an adult and a child, it's an experience that belongs to you only. The bodega ain't getting that like they get the $5 and the $1. After a while, that's gone. But the experiences, me and you, that I got meeting you and others, that's mine. I'm gonna hold that.
Thanks, Johnny.
You're welcome. What are you doing? What is he up to?
I don't want to trade.
You don't want to trade.
Thank you.
I wouldn't want to trade.
Yeah.
God bless you. Let's come to a closer proximity.
Okay.
Forget it. I'm ready for the films.
Yeah.
There's no question.
Next
I
time,
have a
Hollywood.
plan.
Yeah.
That's my plan, my goal.
Of course, man.
I don't want to sit there for another 20 years. I'm coming.
You coming for Affleck and Damon?
I'm coming.
Coming for the big check.
What's up, buddy? You're still over there ready for Uncle Johnny, right? All right, as soon as we've done this film, buddy, we're on, okay? And I'll show you stuff you ain't never seen before, buddy. Okay? My name's Johnny. What's yours? Hi, Adrian. Where's Dad or Mom? You're over here by yourself? Why don't you go by Dad and Mom, and then and come back in a little while. When you see him gone, buddy, I'll be over there sitting at the table, okay?